Llew, we're rolling. Come on, man.
Yeah, I just can't believe the articles that Mega J Retro gave me. It's nuts. People actually bought tickets to the Avengers Endgame movie, and then they're selling them for places online like eBay. There's one here for like $100, $500, $1,000.
You know the highest one sold to date is $15,000.
What? I mean, listen, $15,000. Honestly, I don't know what I'm more upset about. That someone would, in a sense, scam other people into buying these tickets and then selling them 1,000-fold, or that somebody clearly has more money than me to spend anything more than 2 digits worth of dollars towards buying regular movie tickets, like a normal person. It's not like the movie or yourself will be snapped out of existence. We all have plenty of accommodating movie theaters and a whole lot of time, wink wink, to watch this movie. It's not like $14,605,000. I guess that's what's taking Captain America's whatever it takes line to a whole nother level.
Only America.
Yeah, well, we're up here in Canada with Captain Canuck. Hello everybody and welcome to Llew's Reviews, and oh, what's that I hear? It sounds like a swan singing. Ew, that's what a swan sounds like? Okay, the point I was trying to make here was in terms of a swan song, which relates to the concept of finality.
Spoiler!
Okay, I get it. Nobody wants spoilers here. My goal here is never to spoil anything. It's just to give a heads up on what the film you're thinking about seeing, in which I will be talking about, is actually worth your time. And I tell you, Avengers Endgame, yes, it's worth your time. About 3 hours worth of your time. Boy, if I could rewind the time about 60% of the time, I do it all the time. I'm surprised I was able to hold my bladder. I honestly started to feel something in the last 10 minutes of the film, and I knew I made it. This huge container full of vanilla cherry Coke kept saying to me stuff like, "Oh, you look thirsty, Llew. That was an emotionally intense scene you just saw. Looks like you need to drink me, Llew. Spoil your viewing pleasure and just one of the greatest cinematic achievements of all time, and just drink me." No, I'm not gonna drink you, man. I'm not gonna miss this. So I'm here to talk as minimal and minimum as possible about Endgame. I do have to talk about Infinity War, the third Avengers film, and the 19th film of the current 22 films that are existing. And if you haven't seen it, you should. But I remember back in the day when I spoke to people who didn't see Infinity War and were looking for, I guess, ways to prepare themselves prior to viewing. And it all came down to which movies should I see before I watch Infinity War. And you could pick out a handful of them, like Guardians of the Galaxy, which introduces the Purple Power Stone and elaborates more about the rest of the Infinity Stones by the Collector, who actually has the red Ether Stone, or the Reality Stone, from Thor the Dark World. Then there's the 2 Avengers films, which you should watch because of the Tesseract and the Mind Stone from Vision's forehead. And then my main man, my guy, Doctor Strange with the Time Stone. And then you could throw in Civil War because of the climactic showdown between Tony Stark and Steve Rogers and how it affected the foundation of the Avengers as a whole. You could probably add in a couple to that, I'm sure, but feel free to make a comment below. However, with Endgame, and when I was done with it, you really should have watched all 21 films prior to Endgame. And I mean it, I really mean it. It wraps up a lot, if not everyone's story arcs. A powerful and emotional culmination of 11 years and 21 films leading to the love note swan song that is Endgame. This may or may not be too much information, but as you can see here in this mug that I never drank from, the lineup from the Avengers are actually on it. I mean, here you got Nebula, you got War Machine, Ant-Man, Rocket, and Captain Marvel, all great additions, all of which add to the story and the camaraderie to the group. The original 6 Avengers are all here, from Captain America to Tony to Bruce Banner and Hawkeye himself, who was completely absent along with Ant-Man. While Captain Marvel was helping other alien civilizations in battle on planet Titan and the country of Wakanda, Ant-Man and Hawkeye were becoming buddies. But it does pick up where Infinity War left off, in the decimation of the snap. But if you haven't seen Infinity War, yes, Thanos snap. He snapped! The remaining members embark on a mission to avenge the fallen. Wink wink, nudge nudge. And despite the situation and how dark and dire the circumstances are, Endgame surprisingly has some very funny moments. A lot actually, which complements and balances out the movie's very emotional and often gruesome dark moments, even for Disney films, especially with that Thor. Ragnarok really rubbed off on him, and he is my favorite and funniest character on screen in this movie. But if you've seen Bambi's mom and you've seen Simba's dad, or heck, even the ending of Star Wars Rogue One, you could get through this. But instead of a significant character like a parent biting the dust, wink wink, but then apply it to half of all the characters that we've grown to love and be emotionally involved with for the last 11 years, you know what? Never mind. The Russo brothers have managed to do the impossible and balance out a lot of the trademark MCU humor with the heavy plot, the heavy emotions, character progression. Considering their previous works in Civil War, and even before that with the works of the TV show Community, balancing out several character arcs in one story, which is no easy feat. But it's something that they have proved time and time again that they are more than capable of handling. And if you are a Community fan, you are in for a pleasant surprise.
Ooh, that's nice.
In terms of handling and balancing out several story arcs, that even applies to villains. And yes, the big baddie bad villain of the last film, Thanos, is still the big baddie bad villain of Endgame. Who, in my opinion, as of today is going down as one of the best comic book villains of all time. I mean, I liked Loki, I liked Hela, I liked Eric Killmonger. Even Thanos, with his complexity and his depth, even transcends this cinematic universe and even comic book movie villains in general. And a lot of it has to do with Josh Brolin's excellent performance as the Mad Titan. But at the end of the day, for the sake of the namesake that is the movie's name, it's called Avengers Endgame, in which a name like that exudes things come full circle in a beautiful, crowd-pleasing comic book fan service extravaganza. And if you do watch the movie in a theater, which I assume you are, you will come across different types of audience members. Like me, the type who's seen the movies but is somewhat familiar, if not vaguely or even ignorant of the comic book sources, shouting stuff out like, "Oh, I can't believe they just did that! Woo!" And then there's the other type who know the comic book source material and will say something like,
"Well, in the Mighty Thor issue 390, they actually did that, so I'm not actually surprised, but I'm glad they put it on film."
Psh, shut up, nerd. What are you even wearing? Like, what is this?
Please do not touch. This is a very valuable and one-of-a-kind Hikaru helmet from the series Macross. It's an anime.
Anime? We're watching the Marvel here. Come on, man.
It holds my 3D glasses. They are very exclusive.
Psh, nerd. And then there's the neutral type who will say something very diplomatic, like,
"You are as charming as a Klingon with hemorrhoids."
I don't know what that means, but your helmet's stupid.
Hey guys, can I pull a winger on you for a second?
Huh?
Can we just get along and just enjoy this beautiful masterpiece of a movie that we have in front of us? Yeah, it may be in the comic books. You may have seen it before, so we can just appreciate this magnificent piece of cinematic movie in the entire history of the MCU that will ever probably happen. So if you please, let's just put aside our differences and just come together like, you know, the Avengers. Sound good?
Yeah!
Hooray.
And really, it's a damn near perfect film, at least in my opinion, as a perfect final chapter in the Infinity Saga. And I mean, others will find things to criticize, which I do see, like its lengthy running time, or that there are some parts that could have been shortened just a wee bit, or that CGI battles are victim to being a bit messy. But come to think of it, the good guys are usually colored, and the bad guys are usually a dark metal gray, like in Transformers. They're colored, right? It's the same thing with Infinity War. And despite its lengthy time, it was amazingly evenly well paced, at least for me. It does take its breath to unfold the plot, progress its key characters, and whatever bad thing anyone can find, I find that there are dozens, if not 100 things positive to say about it. But I think I've said quite enough, so keep your bladders empty, go see it. If you have, great, go see it again and add another $1 billion to this movie that's gonna bust another block. Go see it in IMAX, I know I will. If I could give this something, I would give it an easy 14,605 out of 5. For traditional sake, let's get a hammer, a bow and arrow, a shield, a Black Widow spider, and an arc reactor out of 5. And let's just throw in a vial of radiation, gamma radiation on top of all this. Alright, there you have it. I hope you guys liked this video. Be sure to check out our other videos. I do have a spoiler talk for this movie where we spoil the crap out of this movie, but don't forget to like and subscribe and you'll be good to go. And I will see you next time. Toodaloo!